COVID cases are rising throughout the state of Texas, but Governor Greg Abbott insists that there will be no mask mandates in Texas.
And there's a new law to back his statement. KENS 5 reporter Megan Reina with how that law can affect you and what one local doctor is seeing with COVID cases right now.
I'm definitely seeing more cases in the last couple of weeks.
The numbers are there to prove it. COVID-19 cases are on the rise. According to Metro Health, around this time last month, Bexar County was recording around 700 cases. This past week, there's been nearly 2,000 cases. And in the small town of Runge, its school district was forced to close last week because too many staff members, including the superintendent, got sick. But Dr. Richard Neal from Castroville says there's no reason to panic.
It really doesn't bear any resemblance to the COVID we were seeing 2 years ago. The classic cases are fever, body aches, congestion, and just flu-like symptoms.
Even if local governments want to reinforce COVID mandates starting September 1st, they can't. In June, Governor Greg Abbott signed Senate Bill 29. It prohibits local governments from requiring COVID-related masks, vaccines, or business shutdowns. But it does not restrict private entities from enforcing their own rules. Dr. Neal says when it comes to masking, he mainly recommends it for his high-risk patients.
Certainly for high-risk individuals that are really immunocompromised, it's not a bad preventive step to take.
Dr. Neal says ultimately it's up to each person on what steps they're willing to take to stop the spread of COVID. However, he doesn't anticipate widespread masking.
I haven't admitted anybody with COVID in 2 years.
Megan Reina, KENS 5.
Now, I took the liberty of looking up legal scan or Leggy scan for Texas Senate Bill 29. And this is exactly what it is. Now, I'm not going to read through all of this. As you can see, it's a lot of red tape, as we like to call it. But I am going to highlight certain areas. So it says summary relating to prohibited governmental entity implementation or enforcement of a vaccine mandate, mask requirement, or private business or school closure to prevent the spread of the vid. Okay, and the title is relating to prohibited. It literally repeats itself. So clearly there's a divide. Now clearly there's a divide in these spiritual Egyptians, which makes me think of certain scriptures. But a house divided cannot stand. We'll begin there. All right. So this is where we're going to begin. Now you already see that you have the spiritual Egyptians divided, okay? And it made me think of Matthew chapter 12, and we'll begin at verse 22. Now the Sadducees and Pharisees had a problem with Yahushua doing miracles, healing, becoming famous throughout the land, and their envy and jealousy used to push them to try to catch Yahushua up. All different manner of questions they would ask him in hopes that he would slip and they could somehow convict him and put him to death. Just a little backstory. Verse 22. Then was brought unto him one possessed with the devil, blind and dumb, and he healed him, insomuch that the blind and dumb both spake and saw. Okay? And all the people were amazed and said, is this not the son of David? Huh? They were giving glory unto Yahweh. They were mesmerized, impressed. Okay? But the Pharisees had a problem with this. So, verse 24. But when the Pharisees heard it, they said, this fellow doth not cast out devils, but by Beelzebub, the prince of devils, accusing him of a fault. Now, here's the point we're about to get in verse 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Okay? And what you're seeing in America, Babylon the Great, spiritual Egypt, amongst the nation of Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man that rules in the world today. And though he may call himself white, he's very much red. But that's beside the point. What you're seeing is their kingdom, their house is divided. They're split in half on multiple issues. And they're supposed to be like a smooth operating machine at this point, pushing this NWO. But maybe about a month ago, Salakia, maybe about a month ago, the governor of Texas put up these floating dividers on the border of Texas and Mexico, and the federal government has been suing, trying to get them to remove these blockage, okay? Now you have them saying they're not going to bow the knee to this NWO by pushing these mandates, vaccines, Salakia, pushing these mandates and venom shots, okay? So they're very much divided. Verse 26, and if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? And what we are witnessing with our own eyes is their kingdom is falling, okay? That unity that they once had when it came to running this nation with self-proclaimed white supremacy, that spirit has long left them. They're very much divided at this point. And what you're going to see is more of this as the days continue on. Now, I don't want to make this too long, but you're getting the point. We're going to go to Isaiah to finish out chapter 19. The burden of Egypt, verse 1. The burden of Egypt. Behold, Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud, a UFO for those of you who don't know, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it, because the true ruler of all the earth, the right hand of Yahweh, whom you ignorantly call God, the one who was given all authority, is coming back to put this man out of rulership, okay? And this man is the spiritual Egyptian, the self-proclaimed white man that ruleth in the world today, the nation of Esau, Edom, and his affiliates. Verse 2, and here's the point. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. By the way, just a side note, you have been seeing a lot of UFO sightings lately, and I know they're painting this crazy narrative, but when it says the Lord rideth on a swift cloud, he's been visiting them with these UFOs, okay? And the idols of Egypt truly are trembling at this point, okay? Their heart is melting within their chest, okay? Because they know they have to deal with all the wrong that they have done. And that sentence is great. We already know what the sentence is, and the sentence is that the self-proclaimed white man will be put into slavery for over 1,000 years. And once his slavery is up, he will be wiped out of reality as a bad dream, okay? Verse 2, and I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian, and they shall fight every one against his brother, like the first civil war of this country, okay? 100% divided. You're going to see it again. That's why they say civil war is coming. Those of you who understand, stay out of it. This is not your fight. This is Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai's fight, okay? Don't be arming yourselves and doing a whole bunch of prepping and all this other jazz that says that you have no faith in Yahweh, okay? Nor his son, Yahweh Shai. You got to believe that this is for your benefit, for your good, and let the lightning ride. Ride that lightning, baby. You know what I'm saying? Verse 2 again, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. Because just as original Egypt was full of nothing but sorcerers, witches, and warlocks, Salaki, I'm a little stuffy. Witches and warlocks that were competing against Moses at the time of the Exodus, you're going to see them going back to the same tactics here in the United States. America, Babylon the Great, America, spiritual Egypt, because they were founded on witchcraft and sorcery, okay? Verse 4, and the Egyptian will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith Yahweh, the Lord of hosts. And hosts means armies. So these people got hell coming. They got hell coming, okay? And I, for one, love to see the division, that their unity is no longer set in stone like it once was. It just indicates to me that we're just that much closer to getting out of here, okay? Hopefully this has been edifying. I want to say Kal Halayim La Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai for this lesson. And till the next time, Shalom.